Functions are a great way to reuse code. So in this program here, I'm doing the same thing 3 different times. So I'm getting an input value from the user and converting it to a float and storing it in a variable 3 different times. So that's subject to error. If I want to change the message, the prompt, then I have to do it in 3 different places. It kind of muddies up the code here. I've got more lines of code than I need to do the same thing. So I can create my own function to take care of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the input and the float commands in my function. There is something that changes between these calls, and that's the prompt string. That will become the parameter for my function. So we use the keyword def, and let's call this input float because that's what it's going to do. It's going to take a value from input and convert it to a float. Okay, so the prompt goes in here. That's my parameter, and then a colon. I can have as many parameters as I want, but for this particular function, I only need one. It's the prompt, and I'm going to give back a value. So when this function gets called, it's going to have to, the terminology is return a value that's giving back a value or outputting a value from the function, not to the display, but to where it was called from. So what I want to do in here is I want to get a string value from input and using the prompt. So whatever gets passed in there into this parameter is going to be what I'll use for the prompt and input. Okay, so be patient for now and I'll show you what that means. All right, so we take the string val and we want to convert it to a float val. I do that with the float command, float function, using the string val. Okay, so I've done in here what I was doing in 2 commands here and 2 commands and so forth. Now, I have to get that value back to where the function was called. We do that with the return statement. All right, I'm going to return float val. Okay, so here's our function. It doesn't get executed. Nothing happens until it's called. So I want to replace this call here to input with my new user-defined function, input float. All right, then I don't need this. What's going to happen here? Okay, so just by defining the function, that tells Python, what do you do when you see these commands? All right, so if Python sees input float called somewhere, then this is what it has to do. If it's not called, nothing happens. Well, what is this call thing? That's what this is right here. So when I give the name of the function and the value I want to give to that function, this is called the argument where the function is called. This is the function call right here because I've got the name of the function and the value I'm going to pass. What that call means is go to wherever the function is defined and execute those commands. So Python's going to jump up here. It's going to take the value of the argument that's between the parentheses here where the function is called, and it's going to copy it into the parameter. That's what's between the parentheses of the function definition. Okay, it's going to do the magic on that, and what return means, it's going to give the value back to wherever it was called from. So we have the assignment operator here. That value comes back, and we can store it in the variable where it's called. All right, so then that's all we got to do for these next ones here. Input, it's not the input command, but my new user-defined function. All right, then I don't have to do this here. And over here, same thing. And that's cleaned up my code a little bit. Got fewer lines of code. And if I want to make any changes on how input is used or how the conversion is done, I only have to do it once. I do it inside the function. I don't have to do it 3 times like I would have had to do before when I wasn't using the function. Let's see how this thing works when we run it. All right, we'll come over here and let's say it's, okay, we'll put this so we can see what's going on. Okay, 299, 3.99, and 4.99. There we go. So when the program ran, first thing it came to that it could execute was this command here. It says, okay, input float, jumps up here, copies this prompt in here, and that's what we saw displayed. So this command is being displayed here. We did our magical conversion, gave it back to where it was called from. That's how it got stored in item 1. Same thing happened for the second call and the third call, and now our magic has been done.